love the way it feels to be a hater. Something so sweet about.
God, all white people are racist. That statement is racist. White people.
Would you have made the same video for anti-Semitism? Would you have gotten online and presented the arguments for anti-Semitism as a valid worldview, and then juxtapose it to the arguments against anti-Semitism? And then conclude your video with saying, neither side of the anti-Semitism debate is interested in solution. They just want to be perceived as good people. The fact that I even have to use another group for you to see the humanity of black people is insulting. Anti-black racism isn't a talking point. It's a human rights issue. And the fact that you've positioned it as such lets me know that you just have a commitment to being perceived as good rather than actually to justice itself.
I thought everybody already knew this, but apparently they don't, so I'm going to talk about it. The Sound of Freedom, you know, the movie that either is coming out or just came out, is right-wing propaganda. Not only did the guy involved with the making of the film and the guy who the story is about lie and embellish his story, not only do they conflate consensual Shrek's work with trafficking, not only was the work of this dude's group called arrogant, unethical, and illegal by human trafficking experts, but the dudes in charge of this movie are involved in the QAnon movement. The alarming part is, I've seen a lot of people on this app excited about this movie and all for it. You're falling for right-wing propaganda because they're using buzzwords that you happen to like. This is right up there with the work of Exodus Cry. And if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know how I feel about that group. And if you don't know, I have a whole playlist doing an expose on that group. Maybe I'll make an expose on this group too. Anyway, again, this is propaganda. Do not go see it. Does trafficking happen? Yes, it sure does. The vast majority of trafficking doesn't happen through kidnapping. Much like SA and CSA, it's usually people who know the victim doing the trafficking. Things like parents selling their children. Anyway, again, and for the last time, this is propaganda.
Hey Mom, there's this really cool movie called Nimona and I'd like to watch it with you sometime tonight. Is that okay? Yeah, sure, that's completely fine. We'll watch it when you get home from work. Wow, that was actually a really good movie. I like that movie. Yeah, and here are some cool facts about Nimona, the production, and what the team had to go through, and the fact that Blue Sky used to do it before Disney shut it down. Wow, that was actually really interesting. Thank you. No problem, and I'd also like to watch the credits with you because there's something really important to me in it. I mean, it's a little odd, but it's like a Marvel movie? I mean, kinda, but can we still watch the credits? There's something important to me in there. A little odd, but okay. Look, Nimona fire-breathed the pride flag. Isn't that cool? I mean, that's cool and everything, and there were clearly gay characters in there, but why did they have to add it in? Well, Nimona's character, as well as their shape-shifting, is supposed to be a trans allegory for not quite fitting in with society's rigid roles and where we should be in life. And this is especially important because the creator of Nimona, the original webcomic, is trans themselves, and it's really cool to see another trans person being able to create media like this, because we don't often see it. I can't watch a movie anymore without there being some kind of agenda. Why can't I just enjoy the movie? You can enjoy the movie. I'm just telling you cool facts about the movie and how it was written and why certain creative decisions were being made. I liked the movie. Why do you have to tell me all these cool facts about it? I told you these cool facts about the movie and the webcomic because they were cool. There's not much else to it. Yeah, but you fed them with an agenda in mind. Why do you always have to have an agenda? Why do movies have an agenda? Why can't I just enjoy a good movie that happens to have gay characters in it? I mean, you can. No one's going to stop you. I'm just telling you these facts about the movie that I thought were cool to give a little more context as to why certain artistic decisions were made and how certain writing decisions were made. That's it. It seems like every time you recommend a movie or a show to me, you have an agenda in mind. I can't watch anything with you because you always have an agenda and you're trying to sway your opinion and push them on others. I wanted to watch Nimona with you because I thought it was a cool movie that I really enjoyed that happened to have trans and gay characters in it. And I shared cool facts with you because I thought they were cool. There's not much else to it. Whenever I talk to you, it always feels like you have an agenda. You didn't need to share those cool facts with me, and honestly, I didn't want to hear them. You could have stopped me while we were watching the credits. You could have just said, I don't want to hear any cool facts, and I would have stopped. I shouldn't have to tell you to stop in order to get you to stop. Your facts were unsolicited and unwanted. You should not have shared them. If they were unwanted and unsolicited, you could have told me that. I was just telling you them because I thought they were cool. And what does the creator and the writer being trans have to do with Nimona? That has nothing to do with it. It's still a good movie. The creator being trans kind of has everything to do with it because, as I said earlier, Nimona is a trans allegory. I can't watch movies with you because everything has an agenda nowadays!
My only problem with the Barbie movie is that it was a movie for and about white women, even when the characters themselves weren't white. And it might just because I saw Across the Spider-Verse before this, and the way that the families represented in that movie very much spoke to me. However, I felt no connection to the mother-daughter relationship that I witnessed in Barbie. And that's because one of the biggest differences between black feminism and white feminism is the way that they represent the family. In white feminism, whether it's liberal or radical feminist theory, the family is often a site for oppression due to the uneven power distribution and uneven amount of labor that women do. And difference in black feminism, the family is actually a source of strength. The black family is one of the few places that there's protection from white supremacy. I think that fundamentally changes the way that black people and white people interact with our parents. The black family is where we first learn to do mutual aid because we're all going through white supremacy together. And even if we're struggling or I have a problem with my parent, at the end of the day, that is the person who is the first person I know is going to support me.
A gay black man was murdered at a gas station for voguing, and the national debate over queer people is to blame. Here's why. On Saturday, July 29th, O'Shea's sibling and his friends were filling their tank at a gas station in Brooklyn. They were shirtless, in swim trunks, probably coming from a fun day at the beach. They were voguing outside of their car when they were interrupted by a teenager who was telling them to stop. He and his friends then engaged in a heated exchange with the dancers. A gas station attendant tried to intervene, but the fight escalated and O'Shea was stabbed in the chest. The whole thing was caught on video. The group of teenagers took off in a black SUV and O'Shea was taken to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. The 17-year-old suspect has been named, but no arrests have been made yet. As the GOP and conservatives continue to peddle hateful narratives about the LGBTQ+ community, hate crimes continue to rise. In the last year, hate crimes have risen 65%, and that number is much higher for black people. O'Shea was a talented dancer and was a part of the New York City ballroom community, and he was 28 years old.
Excuse me, Director Gerwig, can I please have a moment of your time? Who are you? Oh, I'm just a writing PA, but I have something that I think you're really going to want to hear. Make it quick. Okay, thank you. It'll be fast. So Ken's come back. Ken's brought patriarchy to Barbie Land. Moto Dodo Casa House. Super funny. Are you positive that you should keep in the line where you make an actress of color say that the Kens bringing patriarchy to Barbie Land is like Europeans bringing smallpox to natives? Well, you see, it's because the Barbies had no defense for it. Well, yes, but it will sound like you're comparing cartoon patriarchy to genocide. Well, from where I'm standing, patriarchy is sort of a genocide against all women. Right. If I remember correctly, I'm the director. Yeah. So why don't you just do your job? Understood.
Great news for transgender people in terms of solidarity from the greater LGBTQ+ movement. You see, they actually just released a poll where they asked LGBTQ people, what term do you use to describe the broader community? And only 3% of people answered LGB. Now, if you're not familiar with this, there are multiple organizations like the LGB Alliance, Gays Against Groomer, that have tried to pretend like there is this grassroots movement among LGBTQ people to drop the T, essentially to cleave away transgender people from the community. And this has been a heavily astroturfed sort of movement that's been going on. Well, this recent poll shows that 97% of LGBTQ people include the T in their definition of the community. And I think most of us could tell this. You see, whenever we look around us, our biggest solidarity comes from other LGBTQ+ people. Now, interestingly enough, they actually asked this question of straight people as well, like, what do straight people call the LGBTQ community? And for them, It was like 10% of people identified us as LGB. So 3 times as many, but also a small number. Nobody believes that transgender people are separate from the LGBTQ plus community. We have been integral to so many struggles for civil rights for LGBTQ plus rights. And it's good to see that only 3% of people have bought into this notion of dropping the T.
So my pronouns are they, them, and I need people to understand that I truly don't give a fuck if you use the wrong pronouns most of the times. I'm not gonna correct you, because to me, my pronouns are like an approximation. It's language that can never contain all of who I am. So when I say my pronouns are they, them, I'm just letting you know, yo, I would like for you to acknowledge the fact that I'm not a man or a woman, that I exist outside of this binary. But if you don't do that, that's your problem. It's not mine. You cannot misgender me, because my gender is something that is personal and beautiful. Oh my God. The way that the energies flow through me that created whatever the fuck we got going on over here is unique. It's unprecedented. So I'm not mad at you for being confused. I'm not mad at you for getting it wrong, to be honest. But that's not my work to help you fix that. You know? Good luck, baby. Good luck. If I correct you on your pronouns use, which I might sometimes, is most likely, most of the time, is because I care about the space that we're holding together. And I want you to be in right relationship with me as I want to be in right relationship with you. So if I correct you on pronouns, it's because I fuck with you. And I'm just like, yeah, I would like you to stick around. So here's one way that would make me feel a little bit more affirmed when we're together. Again, if you decide not to do that, then I'm just like, okay, bet. That tells me so much more about you than it does about me. Just, I'm gonna express my gender how I'm gonna express my gender. And the girls who get it, and the ones who don't. And obviously, I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging. Here are 2 essays that have been really meaningful to me in my understanding of how I want to hold my gender. Like, these have really been maps for me. This one right here kind of touches on that idea that you can't misgender me at all. So if you want to be seen, read this. But if you want to be held, my gender is a marriage. I return to this essay so often. It is so good. That's what I'm gonna say. If you're Black and trans, read this.